For the youngsters of the Falkirk Children's Theatre, this performance of their pantomime Sleeping Beauty is to be slightly more nerve-wracking than usual. For this was the day television came to town. Coverage of this production was to be one of the highlights of Scottish television's New Year's Day offerings, and everyone was geared up to giving their best. The television production of the group's 1988 pantomime, Ali Baba and the Far East Enders, proved a real winner with viewers. It picked up a 4th place in the Youth Programmes category of the New York Film and Television Festival. A remarkable achievement, given that the judges had 3,000 children programmes from 27 countries to choose from. But while the TV crews prepare for this evening's performance of the 1989 pantomime, the cast and the backstage team think back to 9 short months ago when auditions were being staged. More than 130 hopefuls went through their paces in a bid to be chosen as one of the 20 to 30 who'd be accepted as new members.
Good. Surprise, surprise. Okay, everybody? Yes, indeed. All right, Scott, thank you very much. Bye-bye.
This is our 19th year. We've been going since 1971, and annually we get approximately 60 to 70 youngsters applying. This year we've actually been inundated with over 100 this year. I think that's a result of last year's televised pantomime.
As new members.
Good. Surprise, surprise. Okay, everybody? Yes, indeed. All right, Scott, thank you very much. Bye-bye.
This is our 19th year. We've been going since 1971, and annually we get approximately 60 to 70 youngsters applying. This year we've actually been inundated with over 100 this year. I think that's a result of last year's televised pantomime. We asked the youngsters to come along and do a very simple, straightforward audition. It lasts about 5 minutes. We asked them to prepare a short song, a small poem, and we give them a wee bit of dance to do, or sometimes the girls prepare their own dance if they happen to go to dancing. It's all very painless, at least it sounds very painless. The youngsters themselves, as you probably realise, get very uptight, but we try and make it as painless as possible.
Depending on the age, with the older children, I look for them being able to really sing quite well and hold a tune quite well. With the younger ones, a sweet voice that obviously can start to hold a tune. When they're 7 or 8, they can't possibly do what a 13-year-old can do, but they must have a basic ear to be able to hear the tune and hold the tune. If you get somebody who just can't differentiate between any notes at all, then you can tell that they're never going to be able to sing. But you have to be able to listen and tell whether put in a group they could sing quite well, because we're not looking for soloists all the time.
Well, I'm looking for a good sense of timing, a bright face, a bright approach to the whole audition when the child is moving. I'm just looking for a boy that can be taught the steps. Obviously, most boys don't go to dancing classes, and they've got to be taught the steps. And you'll find that most boys eventually get what you want.
The standard today has been exceptionally high, and at the end of the day, when we finish and sit down to work out, we can take in probably 30 children from the 100 or so we're seeing. That's when the real difficulty comes in.
Falkirk Town Hall on a spring morning, a time for tension and more than a little nervousness. Outside the audition room, would-be stars wait and wonder, their mothers always at the ready to support, advise, and perhaps wipe away a tear. Would this be their child's window on the world? It's now December, and those selected for the Sleeping Beauty cast are still at home as television producer Martin Cairns arrives.
The one you're listening. Hang on, did he say that?
Meanwhile, the miles of cables which would stretch between the television vehicles and the various cameras in the auditorium are still being brought out. Sound equipment has to be checked.
That's the way to do it.
Cameras assembled.
Okay, through your end.
Yeah, I've got a pen.
And a whole list of other tasks to be undertaken. Riggers, electricians and scene hands get on with their jobs,
And I can put him
and the
on
production
ISO
team
to
firm up on
make
some
it
of
work.
their
If
plans.
not, well, we'll just junk that bit. You happy with the...
14-year-old Jacqueline Shan, the theatre group's lead player in the pantomime, goes over the lines she'll deliver for the television presentation of the show.
Welcome to Castle McCraker, Brigadier.
Around 15 production and technical staff are involved in the coverage. They bring a variety of skills ranging from the director and his assistant to a lighting expert and sound technicians.
And everyone's been invited to the christening.
Right, after baby Fiona...
Jacqueline is one of 120 youngsters aged between 8 and 15 who are members of the Children's Theatre. They start rehearsals for the pantomime shortly before the summer each year and continue after the holidays every Sunday afternoon until opening night. The pantomime plays to packed houses for 10 performances in Falkirk Town Hall, and the company has its own production unit as well as an army of volunteers who do all kinds of jobs, from manning the dressing rooms to acting as stage and technical crew.
Castle McCraker, Brigadier.
Hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of sophisticated equipment has been brought in for the coverage of the 2-hour performance, which will be edited down to 1 hour. The editing will be achieved with the help of specially written dialogue, and the programme has to be promoted on the different ITV stations who will be transmitting it, possibly at different times.
It's Martin Cairns at Schehallien.
How's that, Bill?
I'll tell you what it is, it's just to double check the time that the Panto programme's going out on board of television, because we're just about to make the promo for it and we just want to insert the time in the actual promo. He's given us 12:35, I just wanted to make sure that hadn't changed from that. Okay, we'll put that in the promo. Thanks for your help. Bye. Okay, this is a rehearsal only
For
for a sound
Jacqueline,
check.
all this means more rehearsals.
Okay, and cue.
Hello there! Welcome to Castle McCraker, Brigadier. I'm Fran, by the way. You'll be seeing more of me in a minute. But the big news the new is that Laird and Lady McCraker have just returned with their new baby daughter, Fiona. That'll be her. And everyone's invited to the christening. Now, you'll need to excuse me, 'cause I see a wee job in this for myself is... Guess what? Who said a dummy? I'll speak to you later.
Lovely, that's great. See when you lift the dummy up, just do that again.
There's an early call too for the musicians under the direction of Sheena Graham as they run through their schedule. So the hours tick by, and soon it's time for the cast to prepare for their big moment. The excitement is clearly evident as the boys and girls cram into their dressing rooms for those few final tingling moments before curtain up.
15 minutes, ladies. 15 minutes. Stand by.
The adrenaline may be pumping for these kids, but for one of their colleagues, it's not to be. Even old troopers have sometimes to submit to a sore throat.
There are a
group down here who are doing really well, well, there's a group up there and a group down here that are not quite doing so well.
On the other side of the building, the crowds begin to arrive in large numbers. These performances are sold out months in advance. And when the curtain rises each evening, it's not difficult to understand why.